I think this deck is one of the most underrated decks in Pokemon Pocket. People are not talking about this deck enough. It has a 52% win rate over the last few weeks of tournaments in Mythical Island. It is an elite and powerful deck that has a lot of really good matchups, but is ultimately a deck that I think has an incredibly powerful energy ramp tool. That's right, we're talking about Arcanine Moltres EX. So, what makes this deck so good, and why am I so high on it right now? The specific answer is the card Moltres EX, which is one of the strongest cards in Pokemon Pocket, and I would argue as defining to fire archetypes as Misty is to water archetypes. Moltres EX is effectively a Misty that you can activate multiple times, and of course, it also has 140 HP. As a basic Pokemon, it's more likely to show up in your opening hand than Misty is, and you can fetch it off of Pokeball. The real only downside to Moltres EX is that you need to pair it with a fire Pokemon that wants to have energy. There are really only two main big hitters in the fire archetype, no offense to Centiskorch and Volcarona. Those main big hitters are Arcanine EX and Charizard EX. Charizard EX has a major problem right now. That major problem is named Mew EX. The premise of every Moltres EX Charizard EX deck is that you set up the Charizard EX, it blasts through a thing, and then it blasts through another thing. Because Charizard EX does 200 damage, you have the ability to KO any EX Pokemon in the game, and with 180 HP, nothing is going to knock you out on the back end. Problem: Mew EX actually will knock you out on the back end because it will simply copy that Crimson Storm with genome hacking. This has pushed Charizard very far out of the range of decks that I want to be playing. Now that's actually good news, because Charizard, while it did have the most overpowering endgame in the energy typing, was not, in my opinion, the best Pokemon for the type. That was Arcanine EX, because it was able to play a little bit more of a mid-range game. And when you have a deck that has this kind of opening, it has some pretty defined weaknesses and some pretty defined strengths. The strengths are that it is able to get to its EX Pokemon quickly and reliably, sitting behind a Moltres EX and building up energy on Growlithe into Arcanine. The weaknesses are mostly related to Arcanine's damage output. For example, if you get to an Arcanine but your opponent gets to a Gyarados, their Gyarados is going to beat you. You need to be getting to Arcanine faster than they get to their big EX Pokemon. What Moltres EX does is let that happen. Arcanine EX only needs 3 energy to start swinging for 120. You run multiple Giovannis to get that up to 130, so you can knock out opposing Mew EXs. You have type advantage over Celebi EX. You are able to knock down Zapdos EX, Pikachu EX, Starmie EX with a Giovanni, and that stuff allows you to be a deck that goes slightly bigger than those decks and has a very powerful matchup into them. A lot of Pokemon Pocket right now is setting up a boss monster and using it to knock out an EX Pokemon and then something else. That's what this deck is trying to do, but it's trying to do it faster than the other boss monster setups because it has Moltres EX, which can sort of serve as your combination Druddigon and Misty and just absolutely wall people out while building up energy. It's not uncommon for Moltres EX starts with this deck to end up having massive energy advantages. You will see games where you have twice as much energy as your opponent into the mid game. The problems with this deck are mostly related to Mew EX, Mewtwo EX, and Gyarados EX. So, let's talk about those. You run Mew EX so that Mewtwo EX doesn't beat the crap out of you. That's basically the entire reason. Yes, it's also a good tank, but you are stone dead to a setup Mewtwo EX if you are not running a Mew EX, and that is the major reason why Mew EX is in here. You are also very dead to fully set up Gyarados EXs. That is a very dangerous situation for you. In order to leverage our tempo advantage as best we can in those matchups, i.e. getting out ahead fast enough so that they can't get fully set up, you are going to be running an extra X speed in the form of Leaf. We have 1 Leaf and 2 X speeds to enable us to swap that Moltres out with a juiced up Arcanine as early as possible. That's not enough to make the Gyarados matchup favorable. Frankly, what would be enough would be if Fire had a Hitmonlee, but all we have is Volcarona, and that's just not worth it. This deck has immense consistency, immense power, and very good matchups into almost everything that is not specifically Gyarados EX. That Gyarados EX matchup, tough, but you're great into Pikachu EX. You can beat Mewtwo EX with your Mew. You can power down Celebi EX. You are able to deal damage through almost anything else and get aggressively onto the board. You're excellent at dealing with people stalling with Druddigon because you literally just set up your Arcanine EX faster, blow up the Druddigon, start blowing up the things that are normally behind it. This deck is powerful. Let's take a look at some of the major threats, upsides, and downsides. Make no mistake, Moltres EX is the reason you play this deck. This is the strongest opener in the game. Moltres EX is your combination Druddigon and Misty. It gives you extra energy, it has a massive amount of HP, and you run not just Leaf, but also X speed in order to make sure that you're not giving up the two prizes on this card. This is an absolute powerhouse. Now, it does mean that this deck is very much a deck that wants to go second. It really cares about having that extra energy. In a world where you have your Moltres EX, it cares about having that extra energy so you can start ramping sooner. In a world where you started on Growlithe, it cares about having that extra energy so you can get to your 3 energy Arcanine EX faster. This deck really does want to go second. But even when you're not going second, having a Moltres EX is how you make up for that disadvantage. Oh, my opponent has more energy than me? Well, after one round of Moltres EX, they don't anymore. And that is what this deck is really trying to leverage. Moltres EX can also pump up backline Moltres EXs, but do keep in mind that it cannot put energy onto Mew EX. That means that if you're up against a Mewtwo and you need to have that genome hacking online, you're going to be in a situation where your energy ends up getting devoted to Mew EX and you're relying on Moltres EX to cover the energy costs for the rest of your Pokemon. That is a unique situation to find yourself in, but you are very dead to Mewtwo EX otherwise. This deck is very prone to setting up situations, and this is a pretty common thing in the metagame right now, where both of you are stalling because whoever sends out their EX Pokemon first gets it revenge killed in the backline. And because of your ability to create multiple big EX threats, like for example, using the energy from a Moltres to get onto an Arcanine online, and then also using your natural energy to get a Mew online, you have advantages in those situations that other decks simply do not. For a Stage 1 EX Pokemon, Arcanine is honestly pretty embarrassingly statted. It has an 120 damage attack that does 20 damage to itself. It has 150 HP. Both of this sort of pales in comparison to Gyarados. It arguably even pales in comparison to stuff like Pidgeot EX, which is Stage 2, but also not very good. And so when you look at this Pokemon, the only real conclusion you can have is that this Pokemon makes sense in the mid-rangiest mix-up metas that you can find. And that's what we're in right now. We're in a metagame where people play Celebi EX, where there's 130 HP Mew EXs running around, where there's a bunch of stuff that this card is actively good into that it can deal with. Even though it's getting hit, it will still be able to deal with. And we're in a metagame that rewards A, having tempo, getting out there aggressively, and B, having multiple big EX threats. And that is what this deck can facilitate. It can facilitate having 2 Arcanine EXs fully active. It can facilitate Arcanine EX and Mew EX, all thanks to the power of the energy ramp that you receive from Moltres EX. But the weaknesses are stark. Your EX Pokemon is worse than basically every other EX Pokemon people are playing. That's not a good spot to be in. You're using the energy to make up for that, but it can really matter. You're flat out dead to a Mewtwo EX if you don't play this card. And even in other matchups, like, the best use case for Mew EX is to beat up EX Pokemon that attack for more than they defend for. But you can also use it in other matchups, like against, for example, Golem. A genome hacking is actually pretty useful. Let's say they knock something out. You send in your 130 HP. Then you do 120 to them, -3, -30 from their next attack. That's a very powerful thing to do. It's not the end of the world in those situations as well. Basically, this is a card that is good against everything except Gyarados EX. And it's fine into Gyarados EX, but we don't have a solve for that matchup. We have a solve for this is a solve for the Mewtwo EX matchup. It's even pretty okay into the Golem matchup. But this is not a solve for the Gyarados EX matchup, and Gyarados EX is quite powerful right now. The one solace you can take is that because Gyarados EX is so powerful, there are a lot of decks that are out here Hitmonleeing, Electabuzzing, Blitzeling, and you are very good against those. Alright, y'all, thank you so much for watching this video. We're going to jump into some gameplay. I hope you enjoy it. As always, I have been KM Best, aka KM Pocket. You have been phenomenal, aka Phenomena Pocket, and I will see you in the next one. I was wrong. It is... They were 5/16 to win there. Okay. My math was wrong, but the ethos was right. They are 5/16 to win there. So we were correct in our decision then. It was unfortunately the right move. I think we probably weren't supposed to play this Growlithe, actually. Because it leaves us vulnerable to... it leaves us super vulnerable for a potential... Sabrina in the future. Nice haircut, thank you. Okay, never mind. That wins us the game. Because we can X-Speed Moltres out here, and then Arcanine down this Pikachu EX, and we're done here. Can they nerf Misty already? Turn 1 Magikarp to 3 heads and Gyarados EX. I don't think Misty is, like, broken enough to be nerfed, but she's definitely annoying enough for it. I can see her being annoying enough for it. Okay, so now we win. Because Moltres is a stupid, broken Pokemon. And Arcanine is built for these mid-range matchups. Yep. It's all Ogre. Alright. Have you ran a Gengar deck before? Thoughts on it? I am not generally a fan of it. Gengar feels like one of the worst things to be doing in Psychic. Alright, come on. Moltres, you had a really high chance at being that card, and instead of being that card, you were not that card, and now I feel like we're fucked. Now I feel like we're fucked. I might need to use the leaf here. But X-Speed seems like such a better thing, and the only way I get punished for using the leaf... I'll use the X-Speed. Keep track of that, though. It's possible that I will get punished for that. It's also possible that I'll get punished for showing them the Arcanine. Hello, Canbest, if that is your real name. Real. That's a powerful bloom. Mew's just sitting out there, tanking damage, as one does. Okay. Am I because like I could leap into Moltres EX into coin flips, and the only way that's worse. No, there are multiple ways that's worse, actually. No, there are also multiple ways it's better, though. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure they can win. I don't think it's necessary, and I think it opens me up to, like, the potential low rolls of not being able to revenge kill Celebi here. Yeah, see, imagine I didn't do that, right? Come on now. Yeah. Like, you blowing that advantage, doing what I was doing there. Yeah. Yep. Dude, we are just on never Moltres. It's so messed up, man. 33 wins just for this season. They're and just in the event. The event is a 45-win event. Moltres, please! Moltres, please! Actually, even now, I'm not sure you're good enough. God. Dude, it's so much worse. It's so much worse like this. What am I gonna do? Retreat out the Growlithe now? Unbelievable. I mean, I only really have one choice here. I can still win off the power of just Arcanine EX is a card, right? Like, if they invest 2 energy in this, even if they do 100, it's hard for them to keep it going, right? Like, if they lose this trait, Arcanine EX wins this face-off. So even if they got 2 heads here, which they didn't, but now they get to blame their loss on that and not on the fact that they had no chance regardless. Waiting for that concede. Yep. It's so hard for this deck to be real. Okay. Speaking of it's hard to be real, this Pokeball just gives us Moltres, right? The best deck or top 2? Some combination of Gyarados EX, Mewtwo EX, and this deck, I think. With maybe Pikachu EX, depending on like how I guess you would say how it's able to find its footing. But I think that's pretty clearly the top grouping for me. I think Pikachu EX is pretty damn solid. Personally, I like it a lot, but I'm not sure it has... It's still got to figure out what the right build is. Like, I'm not playing Gyarados EX anymore, for example. But, like, here we are going second. We're in a really awkward spot against the Pikachu EX. I'm not buying what they're selling here. They're trying to imply that they don't have cards in hand. I'm not buying it. Gyara and Golem are insane. I don't think Golem is that good. Like, I think it's a deck, but I don't think it's that good. And I know someone's going to be like, you know it won the tournament, right? Like, yeah, I do know that. In fact, I do know that, yes. But, like, I don't think it's that good. It just clunks a lot. A lot of clunkiness. Someone's getting a hype stream. I don't think it's bad. I just think that person was very ahead of the metagame when they were playing Hitmonlee, and that was a really smart choice, and it really worked out. But yeah, like, by the way, all we need to do here is get to an Arcanine. That's the only thing that matters. Hey, look. I think Golem is pretty okay. It's better than a stage 2 has been in a while, but I really think what happened was that was a really good player, and they had a really good plan. And they were prepared for all the Gyarados decks in top 8, and then they beat all the Gyarados decks in top 8. And I think they're very smart, very clever. The deck matches up well when it does the stuff that it wants to do. I'm not sure it has longevity. I think this is more like a rogue deck wins a tournament kind of deal. That is longevity, like this is gonna be the thing kind of card, you know? Bug, bite, retreat out the Pika EX. I see what you're cooking. Here's the thing, I don't think it works. How are they supposed to deal enough damage to the Arcanine? Your entire bench is EX Pokemon that die to Arcanine. I don't get it. Like, the whole bench here is EX Pokemon that die to Arcanine. So, while you do get the Arcanine smaller, you don't win the game. We go 120, so we go down to 130. Pikachu hits for at most 90, and then they die. I think Golem benefited from the surprise factor and other people not knowing how to deal with it. I agree. But it's not a bad deck. I think a lot of people, when they say stuff like that, they're like, oh, the deck sucks. The deck doesn't suck. It's pretty good. It's just I think people are way higher on it than they should be because it might be better than Celebi. Talking about some mid-ass shit. Is their plan just, like, stall it out? That's not gonna work. Oh, wait, that is gonna work, right? 130? No, it's still not gonna work. I mean, they're cooking, but it doesn't work. Thanks to our potions. They are cooking, though. It's sick as hell. It's sick as hell, dude. It doesn't work thanks to our potions, but they had a plan and it would have worked. They did amazingly this game. They're absolutely cooking. That was sick as hell. They cooked. That was cool as hell, dude. That was awesome, dude. We're gonna be 10 HP, you know? Wait, do we even... Are we even... Does this just tie the game? How does this work? If they attack us here, what happens? Did they actually pull it off? Do we just lose? It's a tie? Holy shit! They're so goated! They could go for the Den flip. Do it! Do it! Yes! Oh my god. Okay. They're so cool. Oh my god. Oh my god! It's over for me! They're so good. Ah! They don't have Pika energy? Wait, that's true. Okay. It could win if they keep winning coin flips. Wait, I should have Sabrina. What am I doing? I threw. I just Sabrina the guy out. No, I'm so stupid. Oh no. Not like this. Surely he never wins the flip. Rewarded. Jesus Christ. The Sabrina doesn't effectively do anything necessarily, but it buys me one more turn of, like, if they lose the coin flip, right? Going first? I mean, there's no reason to ever play out multiple things and give them more information. Mew EX Mewtwo? This is a bad matchup for us. It's not the end of the world because we have our own Mew EX, who is honestly kind of just a beast mode card here. Sabrina means Surge would win it? How would Surge win it? They don't have cards that can be Lieutenant Surge. How so? We don't have a way of dealing with an active Mewtwo EX. It's just bigger than all of our shit. So our only way of dealing with it is with this Mew EX. Okay. Wow! So the problem we're in is we need to start putting energy on Mew EX and just trust the Inferno Dance. But it's hard to trust the Inferno Dance after that shit. And if they get to their Gardevoir, we have a turn. We're going to be able to revenge kill. It's going to be fine. But all our energy needs to go on Mew EX from here on out. We'll just figure it out. It'll be fine. Like, it's not good. Mew is in this deck just for this matchup. Not just for this matchup, but, like, it is the only way we aren't 100% dead to it. If we gotten better coin flips, we could have gone for an actual kill on this Mew this turn. But our coin flips have been unmitigated ass. We flipped 9 coins and gotten 2 energy. We flipped 9 coins with 2 heads. Pretty insane. From here, though, it's like, if they leave Mew EX out there, we double X speed Giovanni kill it. Yeah, see, that's what we're doing. We double X speed Giovanni kill it with Mew EX in the back line here. And it's actually over. Do we need to double X speed? I don't think we need to double X speed, actually. Oh, they don't have blue? Well, that's why we have the other Giovanni, right? But, like, we have Geo, we have Sab, all of that handles this situation. Because we've put them in a position where they have to send the Mewtwo EX in, kill our Arcanine. We then bring out the Mew EX, genome hacking, side drive, GG. We're done here. We are officially done here. Mew EX doing a bang-up job. Mew EX doing a bang-up job here. Yep. Not that it would have mattered. But side drive. Okay, what the fuck? We don't have anything to hit with the Inferno Dance. Any Pokeball, I guess, preferably not one that gives a Mew, but like, holy shit. Okay, stop that. That's what I need to be doing, not whatever this is. Yes. Surely a basic Pokemon will show up here. Okay, one of these will at least be fire type. Guaranteed. Game is doing everything it can to screw me. But there is still a guaranteed fire type coming out. And now, as long as we don't get mono down flips, we should be in a good spot. Theoretically. Hey, that's 2. Love that. Where are we in terms of setup? We can get straight into an Arcanine attacking next turn if we feel like. My God. Please invest that energy there. Oh, yes. All right. All right. All right. I bet you think you're doing some slick shit here. You are not. I bet you think you're doing some slick shit here, but because we got those 2 coin flips and because we have this stuff in hand, it's all ogre now. I have 4 energy. They have 0 energy. That's some nice shit to see. Yeah, I mean, go nuts. That's awesome, but I don't know that they can win because we just go over the top of Weezing. And so each time they're investing energy and doing 50 damage, and it's like, you know, that's very cool, but you're not going to win like that. We're done here. Arcanine EX just gaming. It's a good thing there's no colorless Misty. I'm trying to figure out what I should do for a 4th weekly video and how to time it up. Currently, I do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you were to watch me, what would you want? Where would you want that 4th video to be? Saturday, Sunday? Like, what would your thought process be? Okay, not a great opening. Or at least not a great matchup. You have an okay hand, but the matchup's bad. That card's really scary. And the more cards they draw, the worse off we are. Oi! Oi! Shit. Remember when I said the more cards they draw, the worse off we are? Yeah. Sick. Big collab podcast review type video like 8 cubes. I don't know people in this community that way. Yay, Moltres. We need our Mew now. We need to be able to start investing into our Mew either now or next turn, or we're never going to make it. Holy shit. All right, seeing as I spoke that into existence, we need our Arcanine EX. Oh my god, no! Ah! Six coin flips, 1 heads. All right, we need our Giovanni. Okay, I take it back. We need heads. What the shit? What is this? What? This is absurd. This is absurd. All right, I mean, we're fucked. Dude. Okay. Okay. See, the interesting thing here is, if we get to a Giovanni, we can surprise kill the Mew EX and just win the game off of that. If not, We're really just killing time to the Giovanni here. That's all that's happening here, is if we get to Giovanni, we're in an okay spot. We have only one in here. We have another proc research. Because, like, yeah, they have Infi energy here. And as soon as they finish building up that Mew, or that Mewtwo, and are able to revenge kill our revenge kill, then we're in trouble. Okay, these are identical cards. Why'd they do that? What's their plan here? We even got the Giovanni, but like, what were they cooking? What were they cooking? Their plan, they needed to wait until this exact thing couldn't happen. What were they cooking? What are they cooking? Blue still kills us? They would have to be a god in order to pull that off. What were you cooking, dude? Giovanni! 130!